What's up, everybody? It's the Two Generic Podcast, back at it again with the WNBA preview show. This is your host, Cam,
Rich?
and we're talking mainly WNBA today. Obviously, you can see I'm in the WNBA hoodie. I'm all decked out. I'm about to knock over my wall. I just knocked over the back wall. I got the orange Nike shorts on. I got the orange and black Nike hoodie. Let's bring this thing back. Did I get the... Oh, man, now it's uneven. See, this is an eventful start. This is the entertainment you guys tune in for.
You're excited.
I'm excited. I'm knocking over walls. I feel like, what was that dude? You ever see the movie with the X-Men? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. And he starts running through walls and he's bugging.
I didn't
That's
see
how I just felt. I felt like I got Juggernaut energy right there.
Yeah.
Running through walls, going crazy. The WNBA playoffs is here. Obviously, we'll touch on a little UFC for next week. We'll mention the Bill Simmons fiasco. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's things in movement. But the most important thing is our favorite team, the Connecticut Sun, is facing the Indiana Fever at noon or 3 p.m. your time. But
1 p.m. my time. No, oh yeah, you're right. My fault.
Because the first game is at 1 for your time. The Dream.
Liberty game's at 1.
Dream Liberty play at your time. But
yeah,
Caitlin Clark, man, as much as I love the Sun, everything, we were talking pre-show about this. I love the Sun. I've been a Sun fan my entire life, 15 years maybe, ride or die. But, how cool would it be if Caitlin Clark got her team at least to the next round, did something, got an upset, and really changed the narrative because they got the first round pick the year before. The Fever have not been good for some time, maybe since 2009, 2010, since Tamika Catchings really had her last run. But now, like I said, last place last year, so they got Aaliyah Boston with the first pick. Aaliyah Boston gets them another first pick, Caitlin Clark. They start off the year 1-8. It's pretty bad. Doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs, and she carries them all the way to getting a playoff seed, facing the Connecticut Sun. What could happen? I'm rooting for them just as like a good story. But my fandom is still screaming the Connecticut Sun all day, and that's our championship. I think Mabry was the championship piece. Gives us the extra spacing, the extra playmaking we need, and also a little size from that position. We needed a wing, a 2-3 position that was bigger, could score, could facilitate, and especially score from 3. Because Dejanay Carrington is that only option on our squad. And she's not necessarily a shooter or a facilitator, So as Mabry and Carrington are the perfect match and complement each other so well, even though they're mortal enemies.
Right. But that's changed since she's got there, I guess.
I know. They're playing together.
Yeah, they've had good chemistry since she joined the team.
Yeah, it's been cool. And I'm really glad that trade happened. I was talking about it last year. I said I wanted Copper from this guy. If I had to have any team, I would have wanted Copper. But I'll take it. I'll take Mabry mainly because of the spacing. If anything, I've seen Copper's downfalls this year on the Mercury. I thought Copper was this do-all, does-all player. But we've seen some flaws in her game. I like that she's upticked her three-point volume, though. But anyway, I think Mabry's the better shooter, and I'm so happy that the Sun got her. So, what do you feel like this series is going to go? Do you think the Fever have a shot, or do you think the Sun are just going to shut them out?
I definitely think the Fever have a shot. If we're doing predictions right now, I'm taking the Sun in 3, and I think the Fever have some momentum going into the postseason right now. Obviously, they've been great since the Olympic break. Kelsey Mitchell has been one of the best players. She's probably been a top 5 player in the WNBA since the Olympic break with how efficient she's shooting from the field and from the 3-point line, putting up 20-plus point performances all the time now. I think the Fever will take game 1. I think the Fever will take game 1 tonight, or I guess this afternoon.
At home?
Yeah.
In the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville?
Yeah, I think they'll be able to take this game 1. They're going to ride the momentum, and then I think the Sun are going to come back to their senses and win the next 2 games to win the series. But the other thing is, I will say, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if the Fever win the series because of how much momentum they have and how well they've played against all these teams since the Olympic break. And the other thing is, I'm looking at the bracket. This is a much easier path for them than if they had to play, because they wouldn't have to play the Liberty, the Aces, or the Storm until, if they make it to the finals. They don't
That
have to
is
worry
true.
about those three teams. They would have to they'd play the winner of the Lynx and Mercury series in the semifinals if they make it to the semifinals. So to me, it's an easier path for them too. But also the Sun, one of the best defensive teams in the league, and we know Caitlin Clark has had a lot of struggles against Connecticut, especially that first game of her WNBA career she played at Mohegan Sun, and it was a rough game for her and the rest of the team. And also, think I think Connecticut's 3-1 in the season series against them. But we know that regular season series don't necessarily mean a whole lot. We look back last year, the Dallas Wings had a lot of success against Las Vegas in the regular season, and I
Mhm.
think, and I thought Dallas may have taken them to I don't know if what they played, maybe played each other maybe in the semifinals or something. And I thought the Aces would take them or the Wings would take them to 5 games. I saw the Aces winning the series, but I
Mhm.
thought it would be a lot closer series, and it really wasn't. So I don't know
Yeah.
how much stock I put in the regular
I
season.
I agree. I
And
thought the Wings had a little shot last year in the series.
yeah,
Truly.
yeah, and
McCowan was rolling. At the end of the year, like, McCowan looked unstoppable, and I was like, "All right, maybe she might, for a game or 2, throw Asia off her game," but it never actually happened.
Satu had a career year, won MIP.
Yep.
It's a different ball game in the playoffs.
Satu came back this year like a shooter.
Yeah,
Coming off the injury, I think she was just working on her jumper. The cardio wasn't all there. But did you
yeah.
see her in the Olympics?
Well, yeah, and then she came back in the WNBA. She played whatever she played 10, 12 games, and she shot above 40% from three. So
Yeah, Satu's the real
she was
deal.
definitely
Now she's a sniper. That's the scariest thing about
yeah,
Satu. Because if you could let Satu get ahead of steam back in the day, she was just to the rim. There wasn't anybody that could
yeah.
stop her. She was too quick, too long. Hold on, we have a comment. Kelsey, the bailout queen. So I'm guessing this is about Kelsey Mitchell, our
Mm.
thumbnail of today's video. It's Alyssa Thomas and Kelsey Mitchell, their playoff matchup that the WNBA posted. I've been saying this all season. First round's going to be an upset because every team has played playoff level defense all year. Nobody has anything new to show us defensively. That's very interesting, but it is true. Every team has thrown the kitchen sink at trying to stop Caitlin Clark, but at the same time, the second you give Caitlin Clark space, Kelsey Mitchell is taken over. And then the second you overcommit to Kelsey Mitchell, then, you know, the shifting defense is there, and Caitlin Clark is either going to find an opportunity for herself to create a shot, or she's just going to find an opening. She's a playmaker. Something that
Yeah, we talk,
is forgotten about with Caitlin Clark is how much points she generates just from passing. And I think she broke the record this year of points generated, with including her points per game that she scores and then points on assists. So she beat Alyssa Thomas's record. I think
wow.
that's important. That
Yeah,
really is. And she broke the record for most points by a point guard in a season. Did Caitlin Clark? So I guess Kelsey Mitchell is considered the shooting guard there. But either way, both of them, I think the scariest duo now. I mean, you have Joelle Lloyd and Skylar Diggins, but how many more years do you think they can even
but
be in the
Lloyd,
conversation compared to what Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell have ahead of them? Kelsey Mitchell has another 8 years of an incredible career, let alone Caitlin Clark 10 plus.
mm.
And then what's the
And
next? The
also
next
Jewel Lloyd
comment.
had a down year.
Yeah, Joel Lloyd had a down year, but it was great to see Diggins come back. And Diggins got a little jumper now. We have the most unpredictable offense. Nobody knows which Fever player's gonna put a dagger in you. Even we don't know
It's a good.
what we're gonna. Even though we don't know what we're gonna do. I love that. They're so unpredictable. They don't even know. They're the wild card, like Charlie Day. Uh,
Yeah,
there's no preparation for that. Upset loading. Man, I know, I agree, and it would be very perfect to the storyline of Caitlin Clark that her first, competitor, her first challenger, she beats now in the playoffs. She lost to the Sun in the beginning. We all know that the first game of the year, she had a bunch of turnovers, maybe 6 or 7. Everyone was on her case about it. She could be a bust. She doesn't have any handle. There was
no,
a lot of stories that were building against Caitlin Clark after that first game.
I think she had 10 turnovers that game.
It was 10?
It was 10.
It might have been 10.
I think it was 10 that first game. But speaking of defense, Indiana has one of the worst defenses in the league. So we'll see how they match up with the Sun.
You said they have the 12th?
Because that's why they've struggled. They have one of the worst defenses in the league. Indiana does.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they match up. Because Carrington is giving Caitlin Clark.
It's going to be interesting. Lexi is hot too. Like, if you can't forget, Lexi's shooting 80% from three since the Olympics.
Yeah, she's been
no
lights
joke.
out.
She can't miss. She was shooting about 30% prior, but now it's ridiculous. And I think she's shooting like 50% for the whole season. So you got Lexi going off from shooting. She doesn't ball handle too much, but she plays great defense,
Yep.
So you got a great defender who now is splashing threes. Then you have Kelsey Mitchell, who's been on fire. Clark, who looks more in control and in command of the offense than ever. Aaliyah Boston's confident. She's smiling again. The beginning of the year was a little off. I think something that Cheryl Swoop said was accurate. I do believe there was something in the beginning of the year. Some controversy, some little uncomfortability between Aaliyah Boston or Kelsey Mitchell. One of the stars on the Fever was upset. I don't know if it was Nalissa Smith. If it was Nalissa Smith, it is what it is, right? But if it was Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, if they were out in the beginning of the year, I believe they have turned. I think they made a 180 and now they are on board and ready to go. And, looking at Caitlin as a teammate and not as somebody who's like, oh, taking my shine or why aren't they looking at me? I think that's completely over with. Whatever it was is gone and Aaliyah Boston's locked in.
And I think they just needed to get their chemistry together because, Caitlin Clark had to transition so quickly from college to the WNBA. Kelsey Mitchell was, kind of the top dog on that team. Now Clark has the ball in her hands a lot more. And then you have, a person who we've never really seen like that. The way she passes, the way she can make those full court passes, and some of the passes she even makes in the half court. I guess it just took some time for the team to adjust. And the Olympic break, I think, really helped them. And we've seen that. We've seen the success they've had since the break and see Kelsey Mitchell, see Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston looks more comfortable. Hull, as we talked about, knocking down threes, playing good defense. So I think it was just going to take them time. I think it was just going to take some time for them to figure things out.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it carries over into the playoffs.
And if anything, Dantas came back too. Like for the Fever, they had Temi in the beginning of the season doing well. Dantas hasn't played in 2 years. And I wrote an article about 4 or 5 months ago. We wrote it together. We had our rankings and everything, but I did all the formatting. But Dantas, I ranked her the worst contract on the roster. I believe it was her and Erica Wheeler. I don't know who did I put it as Erica Wheeler? Or I did
feel
Dantas.
like you did put it as Erica.
I might have put Erica Wheeler just because she's getting 200 racks and couldn't come off the bench for a little while. She couldn't hit a shot. She was shooting like 12% at the time. Erica Wheeler has played a lot better and I think has been a big motivator and a vet in the locker room. So she's been huge. But Dantas came back. I was going to put Dantas. I think that's what it was. I wanted to put Dantas, and I think you might have said just Erica Wheeler's played like crap this year. Like her shooting percentages are so bad, you can't not put her. Dantas is out with injuries. We didn't expect her to play anyway. I think that's why we put Wheeler. But yeah, Dantas is back, and she's shooting threes. She's hitting stuff. She's not like fully polished, but this is somebody who hasn't played in the league for 2 years. So, like, I almost feel like I can't judge her as harshly either. And now we're holding players to an even higher standard. This isn't the Fever, oh, it's a cool story. No. They want to win. Like, Caitlin Clark wants to win a championship this year. Kelsey Mitchell wants to win a championship this year. The bar isn't, ooh, we made the playoffs on a little wild card seed. It's not that anymore. This team is beyond that, and they want much more. Like, their goals are set. This is championship or bust for every team now. I'm not just saying that. Like, Minnesota Lynx, they won the Commissioner's Cup. They should be going for the sweep. You want the Commissioner's Cup and the title. You get 2 trophies in 1 year. That would be sick. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's championship or bust for them. Phoenix, This is Taurasi's last year, most likely. This is
Yep.
championship or bust for her. This is her last season, most likely. You got Griner coming off some weird year. She's great some games, she's bad other games. She doesn't crash the glass some games. She'll finish with 3 boards, and you're the tallest player in the NBA, or the WNBA. You, I mean, other than Bernadette, we're not going to count Bernadette Hathar as the
Yeah.
tallest player. Han Chu isn't even here anymore. So it's Brittany Griner, and you're one of the only players who could dunk. And the ridiculousness of seeing her average, or not average, but grab 3 boards in a game. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
So I just want to see more from Griner. And if she's done with the W, then just be done with the W. Stop giving us false hope that you're going to go on some championship run, that you're still the BG of old.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't won a championship in a very long time. Look at the
In
last time BG won a championship.
2014, I think.
2014. It's been 10 years since Brittany Griner's, physique and her skill set has actually determined winning on a high level. So if being 6'9" and able to dunk and can finish with 70% efficiency around the rim, and that's still not getting you wins and success in the W, I don't know what will. What more can BG do if she's doing this and it's still not resulting in winning? I don't understand it. So there's just a piece of me that thinks BG is lacking somewhere that she could make that up and be a winning player again.
Or her team's lacking.
Or her team's lacking. What's going to happen against Minnesota? We watched all season. The Phoenix Mercury couldn't score over 50 points. Tell me they couldn't. It's a struggle every game to score 50. While you got the Lynx, everybody shoots threes. All 5 players out there can hit a 3. You got Courtney Williams. You got McBride. Shit, Elena Smith can hit a 3.
Free ball, yeah.
Bridget Carlton can hit a 3. We already know Fee could shoot. Natisha Heidemann could come off the bench and hit a 3. Shit, Peely could, 12th man on the bench could hit a 3. Everybody's a shooter basically on that squad. And I just don't see where they're going to have a problem putting up points. It's a math problem. Like, it's really what it is. It's an equation. And the Phoenix Mercury play by adding 2. They +2 every time they score, and Minnesota pluses 3. That's 150% more. It's just a math problem, truly. Like, I hate to sound like some analytics nerd stuff, but you just watch it and you see it. The attempts are there. And as long as the attempts are high and they make at least 30%, they're going to win from the math. And it just is what it is. What else? We got our offense is our defense, LOL. In the words of Mike D'Antoni, the team that scores the most wins the game. That's something about the Fever, which I very much respect, but also fits here. The Phoenix Mercury just don't score. Their defense is their offense, and but it's not that. The Fever's offense is their defense. They score so much points, you got to keep up with them. The Mercury just hope that you don't score enough. They just want to stop you from scoring, so hopefully they can score enough to win. It's just different. It's a different perspective and style, and I just don't like it. Natasha Cloud, somebody who could get to the rim at will and finish and facilitate. Great passer. You got Copper, who could get to the rim and play make. Now she could shoot. Taurasi's more of a shooter now than anything. I don't understand why their offense doesn't work. Rebecca Allen was a great glue player who isn't selfish. Sophie Cunningham, great spacing player who tries hard, sets screens. She does all the dirty work that you want a role player to do. As the 5th option on the offense, Sophie's a great player to have as a 5th option. So what is their problem? I just don't get it. Is Taurasi, the plays too much designed towards what Taurasi used to do? And now she's like kind of deferring out of it. So now she's playing passive in an aggressive style offense. So that's why it's not actually working. Is the movement not good enough? Like, I've watched all year and I still can't figure it out, because at times you see Copper doing whatever the hell she wants, scoring 25 a game. you're still seeing Cloud do her thing. Taurasi has hot and cold nights. She has nights where she scores like 4 points, and other nights she gets 16. That's a little bit of the inconsistency, but I think most of it goes on BG, and that's just my opinion.
And we talked about it before the season began. We thought this was one of the better teams on paper. I mean, the starting five,
Yeah.
we thought it was the best starting fives in the league. And if they were going to make a run to the finals again, it was going to be this season. But going up against Minnesota, I don't see that happening. And I'm taking the Lynx in two.
Lynx in 2 for the sweep. Me too. I'm
Yeah.
taking the Lynx for a sweep. And this was me preseason. I was screaming, they got Rebecca Allen. No! How did the Sun let them do this? I was
Right.
so upset, It says Sides will help the Sun because she's a genius coach. So I guess we got some people who don't believe in Coach Sides.
the players at the beginning of the season didn't seem like they believed in her.
No. I mean, honestly, there's been times where I've seen Caitlin Clark get hacked and fouled hard, and then Caitlin's like walking back to the bench and Sides is like smiling. I'm like, why aren't you chewing that ref out?
Well, because Clark's always complaining about calls, though. It's ridiculous. She's the worst
She
player
be
in the
getting
WNBA.
hammered.
Oh, God. It's every play? I don't think so.
She
I can't
does cry to the refs. We can't
stand her
say
with
that she isn't emotional or cries to the refs, but she's getting hammered.
She gets hammered, but it's not every play, though.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's every play, but I'm saying Sides. I feel like if I had Caitlin Clark, you would have to get a straight jacket on me.
I don't know, but Christy
I was the
Sides,
coach.
great jacket. She's losing her mind all the time on the sidelines. She's got so much.
I know. But I think it's for the other players. They got to turn up for Clark. That's what gets people's eyes to really tune in. As Engelbert said, if anybody listened to Engelbert's thing, I think she's right. I think she was a little tone deaf. I think she missed the mark on what people wanted to hear. Did you listen to her interview or hear like 3-minute part that everyone's talking about?
No.
So basically, she's saying that people are saying, majority of the league, players, fans, media is saying that she didn't essentially side with black players because she's not addressing that the fans are being misogynistic or racist. But I guess if you're talking about black players, then you're talking more about racism than misogyny, because if you're implying, it's not about gender, it's about race. So they're saying that's how it is. And they don't think Kathy really backed it up well. She said, hey, it's like the new Bird and Magic. And this is what it is. Like, it's a rivalry. People get into it. And this is what creates new eyes and fans, and rivalries create good entertainment, and people tune in to entertainment. And that's why people are here more than ever, is for the story, the entertainment. And I actually do believe that a lot, like a big percentage. I do believe that. She just should have addressed the bad parts. Yes, there are people out there being very disrespectful, and we don't accept that in our league. We don't accept the
Especially
racism, the misogyny, the homophobia. We don't accept that type of stuff in our league. We don't like that. That's not the entertainment value that we're providing. We're not providing, racial tensions, but this is kind of just what happened. You know, Bird and Magic, it was a flashy black player, and then you had this white player from the Midwest. They called him the Hick from French Lick. I was gonna call it South Lick for a second. I don't know why. I was thinking South Bend in my head for Indiana, but the Hick from French Lick. They were calling him a Hick. This has been the thing. This is the playbook. So if you want to get mad about it, everybody in the world knows what started the NBA's hype train. Bird and Magic. And then Michael Jordan came. Do you know what's going to happen? Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are Bird and Magic, and then Juju Watkins comes.
she's Michael Jordan.
You have to understand what's actually happening in front of you. She's the Michael Jordan we're waiting for. Caitlin Clark is amazing. She's going to be a top 5 player ever. Ever. No matter what. But Juju Watkins is coming. And that's what this is. You guys are missing it. I'm telling you, just trust and believe. Hold on to your seats and just enjoy the ride, because this is literally what it is. This is the new coming of Bird and Magic, and then Michael Jordan comes. Don't be mad about it. Kathy Engelbert, I could show you something about Kathy Engelbert that'll change your mind about everything. In 2021, during COVID, she separated from the NBA and actually went to banks to get her own funding for the league. They would not have the funding, the marketing, everything that has happened is insulting. Angel Reese is no Magic or Bird. They
Facts.
faced each other in college in the national championship, in the Final Four type games, in in the tournament, March Madness, the same thing. Bird and Magic faced each other in college, were the top picks, faced each other in the NBA, WNBA. It's very similar. The skill
Yeah,
level
the
is
skill levels
whatever. You could
big.
say whatever it is, but Magic also had one of one passing. Angel Reese comes into the league and has one of one rebounding, a skill that nobody has ever matched before, right? She set the record before she had her injury. She didn't even get a full season and broke the record for most rebounds in a season. Asia Wilson then broke her record, but this was Angel Reese in a 40-game season and a shortened season. Asia got the full season to break the record. Angel Reese did it on a shortened season. So let's give her the credit where it is. She's brought something to the WNBA that nobody prepared for, nobody knew how to stop. You could say she catches her own shots. Then why don't they box her out? Everyone else gets boxed out when they miss shots. How come they can't box Angel Reese out? So she is coming with something that is unique to the league. And she's super flashy. Magic Johnson comes with the fur coats and everything else. She's coming with her lashes, her hair, all her fits. You know, she models. She's all over the place. She went to the Met Gala. She goes to all of these high fashion things. She's a fashion statement, a fashion icon, the same way Magic was. You have to understand there's so many similarities here. I hate that I got to spoon feed it to you. I wish you could just know. But this is what it is. And don't be so mad at Kathy Engelbert. If you listen to this pod, if you ever listened to it before, we talk NBA, WNBA, and UFC. Those are our three favorite sports for the most part between me and Rich. And I listen to a lot of Chael Sonnen. If I'm going to listen to a pod about UFC, I'm going to listen to Chael, former fighter, and also really understands marketing. He was a heel when he was in the UFC. He knows how to get headlines and everything else. He knows the monster behind it all, you know, and it's the entertainment. And that's what he talks about. People pay to see a story. You could go watch a UFC fight anywhere. There's these local MMA things. There's street fights you could watch on YouTube, but you're tuning in for the story. You want to see who has the belt. That's why there's a belt. It's the story. It's part of the story. You're the champion. You win the championship in the NBA. You get the trophy. You understand? It's part of the story. You could say Michael Jordan had 6 MVPs. And did he have? I think he had 6 MVPs, right? Was it 6
5.
MVPs? 5 MVPs, 6 trophies, 6 finals trophies. So like, you understand? Like, this is all part of a story. All of it adds to the story. People tune in for the story. I hate that I have to repeat this so much,
Yeah,
but
he won.
you really have to
He won.
think about it. It's entertainment. You could go to a pickup game right now. You could go to the Y and go watch people play basketball. But why don't you? What's better about watching the WNBA in an hour? Because it's the playoffs. There's a story. 3 games. If you lose 2, you're out. That's the story. There's high stakes. You understand? Like, I wish people understood what entertainment was. Why we tune in. Why you just don't go to LA Fitness and watch some bums play. Because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. There's no stakes on it. Who cares? Nobody. But you want a community to watch with people and to talk about it, right? So you watch a game that other people can watch. There's only a certain amount of people that could go to your LA Fitness and watch the game. But everybody can tune in and watch the WNBA, and then we have something to talk about. It's communal. It's entertainment. I don't know. That's my rant. I could go on forever about it, but that's where we're going. But how about this first game that's kicking off in about an hour, tipping off in an hour, I should say. Football season got me all messed up. The Dream versus the Liberty. I think the Liberty are going to win game 1, lose game 2, win game 3. What do you think?
I'd probably take the Liberty in a sweep. I could see the series being close, and you were talking about it before the start of the second half of the season that you thought Atlanta was going to go on a run and finish with one of those final playoff spots, and that's exactly what they did. And Tina Charles has had, such a resurgence after she didn't play last year. Was kind of quiet.
Tina Charles
was kind of quiet. Couldn't really find her team in 2022. You have Jordan Canada back as your starting point guard, which I think is a great piece. The numbers don't really show it. If you look at her numbers or shooting percentages from the field and from the three, they don't look great. But I think she's been a huge reason as to why they've had so much success since the Olympic break. But
and Ryan Howard's health too. She came back healthy.
Health. But I don't know. I think the Liberty are too good. I could see Atlanta playing one of these games close, but I think the Liberty have too much. So I take the Liberty for the sweep in 2 games.
Okay, you're gonna take Liberty for the sweep. I think they'll survive 1 game. I think there's gonna be some crazy Naz Hillman game where she's got 6-7 rebounds off the bench and is just kicking ass. Beating Kennedy Burke to the spot. Beating Kayla Thornton to the spot. Laney to the spot. Hillman's gonna do something. I'm calling it right now. We're gonna see some great things from Naz Hillman off the bench.
I think she's starting.
She's starting now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We're going to see some great things from Naz Hillman starting because she was off the bench for a while. I haven't watched the Dream. Yeah. I haven't watched at least a tip-off of a Dream game in about 6 games. After the Olympic break, I don't believe she started, though. With Canada? The first game back?
No, I think she's been starting a decent amount of games. Let me see.
Maybe. I could be wrong on this. Maybe I'm forgetting.
Let me look it up.
You guys, chat, let me know. Get on me about this. First game back off break. Was Hillman starting?
She started in 19 out of the 40 games this year.
So maybe she did start the second half.
I think she's been starting a lot more. I think she's been starting since the Olympic break. Because
she might have been starting since the Olympic break.
Because Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, I think, was starting to start the season, and then she was coming off the bench because Hillman was playing better, and Parker-Tyus has kind of had a down year, and then Parker-Tyus got hurt. So then
she's awkward with Tina Charles.
Yeah, so they gave Hillman the spot.
They gave Hillman the spot.
But yeah, I'll take the Liberty in 2 games. But I could see Atlanta playing them close in one of those 2 games, but I still think the Liberty will take both. I think they have just way too much.
All right, so we have Connecticut so far winning. Oh wait, did you say Fever or Connecticut?
No, I got Connecticut in 3. I got the Fever tonight or this afternoon. I got the Fever.
All right, yeah, I got Fever.
I'll take
CT. Fever winning tonight. I think the storyline, the script has it. It was her first game. She's gonna come back and get the win in Connecticut. Also, all right, so yeah, we got Connecticut in 3, and then you said Liberty in 2. I got Liberty in 3. Let's segue real quick in a little story that's been going on. It's been building up. So this happened to me yesterday, and it's gone viral since. So thank you guys for tuning in for this. I'll show you guys a little bit of what's going on. So yesterday, I ran into Bill Simmons out and about. I caught him out in the wild like he was a Pokemon. A wild Bill Simmons. That's my favorite thing. A wild Bill Simmons. Get him on a podcast. He's always wild. But yeah, so I seen Bill Simmons. I woke up. I was laying in bed, and my girlfriend wanted breakfast. I wanted breakfast. I didn't have no eggs. I was like, you know what? I wasn't about to drive to the store or nothing. I got a 7-Eleven across the street from me. This is where I live. This is my fence. I left the fence, and there was Bill Simmons. So it was kind of crazy. And yeah, I got 444 likes right now.
Nice.
It's blowing up. So it's cool meeting Bill Simmons. I went to UMass Amherst for sports journalism major, and I can't say it's not because of Bill Simmons and the starters being like Trey Kirby, Lee Ellis, Taz Mellis, and J.E. Skeets. Like those four guys, and then Bill Simmons. I'd say those five are like my Mount Rushmore, even though there's only four on Mount Rushmore. You can't leave the four starters off. You can't leave one off, even though Lee Ellis has gone on a little sabbatical and isn't with no dunks anymore. But those are my main five, bro. There is no like bigger five that really like got me to want to be in sports media and do sports journalism. Unfortunately, don't got a full-time job in sports journalism. I got a full-time job and a part-time job in something else so I could afford life. So there's that. Maybe one day I'll get a job in sports media. I think that was the day. I should have just begged Bill Simmons yesterday for a job.
Let me
Bro, you just fired KOC.
for
Pick
one
me up
time.
on a vet minimum. I'll sign for the minimum. I don't care.
If-
If I gotta join a championship roster,
I just
I'll
need
sign
one.
for the minimum. You said what?
I just I just need one pod to show you what I can do. Just give me
Right. Give
one
me
pod,
one
show you
pod.
my talent.
Bro, I would be
That's
Cam
all I'm asking.
Thomas. You give me one pod, I'm Cam Thomas. I'm dropping 45.
Thomas.
I don't give a shit. And then they're going to be like, yeah,
Drop.
but he's a gunner. He's a gunner. He got lucky. He just made some shots.
He can only do this once.
He only did this once. He can't do it again. And then they put me on, and then I dropped 43 games straight as a rookie. And that's the Cam Thomas special.
And then you got benched.
And then I get benched for saying some homophobic shit. It's all a joke, guys. We were just talking about Kathy Engelbert. You got to take some of the humor. We know it's not real. I'm not Cam Thomas, nor am I going to go on the Bill Simmons pod. Bear with us. Okay, now we're back off the Bill Simmons stuff. If anything, he set up the WNBA podcast with Sirat Sohi for the Ringer, and she's doing a terrible job. They need to bring in somebody who actually covers the W, not who just started covering the W yesterday, and then now is the Ringer, like the fucking the pod father. That's who he is, and that's his network. And he's gonna put someone who just started watching this year. Come on, that's irresponsible. It really is. It's irresponsible. Like that's the one thing about Bill or about the Ringer. I don't know if he necessarily forced Sirat Sohi. You have to do this podcast for this because you're the only girl in the Ringer, and now you have to do the WNBA pod. Like she has no clue. She called Nafisa Collier. She said Elena Smith's name wrong. She just has no clue about half the shit. She just starts talking about everything else. Starts talking about Angel Reese, and she's brand new, and no one knows what to do with her. More on like a social stratus thing. But like, she's not the first player to ever come out with lashes. Tina Thompson was out there with lipstick. This is first year. This is the first year of the WNBA. And for years on, she three-peated with lipstick on. What are we talking about? Like, some of this shit blows my mind where Sirat Sohi goes on these little rants about this is unheard of. Black women with lashes and weave and hair. I'm like, you're losing it. You're losing the plot. You're really losing the plot here. You know? Like, I don't know where she was going with it, but it was rough. It was really rough. But mainly, it's the fact that she doesn't know how to pronounce Nafisa Collier's name. That means she wasn't watching her at UConn. That means she hasn't watched her all year or through her entire career. If you're still calling Nafisa Collier because you think she's from France and the French Olympics just happened, you might not have ever watched a game in your life. She also said the Minnesota Lynx are her favorite team. And that's why I was like, you mispronounced Elena Smith's name. You mispronounced Nafisa Collier's name. Said Collier. Like, are you watching? Is this the people we're paying to really like present sports to us? I don't know. That's just my rant. I just don't like that part of it. I think it's insane that people, and she feels bold enough to come out here and say in the Fisa Collier, talking about she should be MVP. We shouldn't just say it's Asia. Collier has been. Shut the fuck up. In my heart of hearts, that's what I want to say to her face. Like, please watch the games. Actually appreciate these women. Actually watch and know the craft. That's all. You know? That's
Good.
all I got to say. Done with the Bill Simmons rant. I could go on for a while, but yeah, it's egregious. To say that's your favorite team, then mispronounce two of the best players you have. One who you're advocating to win MVP, and you're calling her Collier. Oh my god. Anyway, let's move on to the other two matchups. We did the first two, like we said. We think Connecticut in 3. You say Liberty in 2. I say Liberty in 3. Um, Minnesota versus Mercury. I think we actually did that one too. You said
Yeah,
Minnesota
we
in
talked.
2. I said Minnesota in 2. Now, the big enchilada.
This is
The
this is
Storm
scary.
versus Aces. You
This
want
is
to go
scary.
first? I know, right? It's actually scary. I'll
Uh,
go first, and I'll take the bull by the horns. The Aces changed their colors from black and gold to black and silver.
Stop it.
That's what I said in the
Stop
beginning
it.
of the year. That I've said it every pod for the past few months. They changed from black and gold to black and silver. I don't know if they're losing right now this series, but they're not winning the championship this year. So I might as well just say it now. They'll lose this series. And I think they
And
lose it in 3, potentially in 2.
yeah, I think this is by far the the most tightly contested series in the first round. Um, but I can't bet against Asia Wilson. I'm not going to bet against Asia Wilson at least in the first round against the Seattle Storm. And I'll take the Aces in 3, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Storm won 1 in 3 either, because I think the Storm as a team have looked a lot better this season than the Aces have as a team. Even though I thought Las Vegas closed out the season well, Seattle closed out the season well. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to bet against Asia Wilson at least for the first round. We'll see how things are looking after. We think the Liberty will beat the Dream, because that'll be the semifinals, the Liberty and the Aces, if they win their first round series. So yeah, I can't bet against Asia Wilson, so I'll take the Aces in 3 games. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle took it in 3 games as well, because I think they have a great team, and I think they have a
You
deeper
know
team too. I
what?
think
What
they
NECA
have better.
has done this season has gone unnoticed. No
I
one's
think she's
noticed what NECA has done.
yeah. I probably have NECA. I think she's top 5 for MVP voting for me.
She should be 4th. I
I,
would
I would
say.
have.
All right, well, you go.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You got it. You got it.
Asia,
Yep.
Fee,
Yep.
Caitlin Clark,
Yep.
NECA.
I would swap.
I
I would
I
I
what?
would swap NECA with Stewie. I'd put Stewie 4th, and then I put NECA 5th.
So my thing is I feel like at some parts of the year, John Quell was playing better than Stewie.
That's true too. That is true. She had her best.
This is Stewie's worst year, in my opinion. Her stats could be one thing, but just watching her, something is different. Her jumper feels a little off.
She
I
doesn't have
love
as
Stewie.
jumper. I don't think she
Not
has
as
as
much.
much in her jumper, that especially not the 3 ball. The three
Hmm.
ball, the 3 ball. The stats back it up that it's been by far her worst year from beyond the 3 point line.
Right.
It's been atrocious, and I agree that Jonquel Jones has looked better than Stewie at times. And this is both of their second years with New York, and Jones is a lot better this season than she was last season. I think she's a
The
lot
past
more
2 years
comfortable
have been
within that
terrible.
offense.
Coming off her
Yeah, I think
MVP
she's a lot more.
season, she's been lazy. She's just kind of out of it. But this year, she's
Gets
facilitating. She's hitting threes like never before. I don't know. I like Jonquel. I really do. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. I think they're kind of sharing the load. So I don't know if I could give them that MVP. I almost want to give it, hear me out. We could say Copper. Copper could be in there just off the points. She brought her team to the playoffs, being the best player on the squad. Tina Charles has been fucking incredible. Whether she's old or not, she's still putting up double doubles.
Right.
Like, she broke the record for rebounds in a career. She has the most rebounds of all time now. You know, like, she's doing some things. Obviously, that's not a season award, and you can't just say like, oh, because she broke a career award, she now has the season award. No, but I think she's in the conversation. This fifth spot is what I'm trying to prove. There isn't a fifth spot. You could even say Arike for times. You know, she was gunning,
No,
but what else
no.
did she have? Satu was out. Natasha Howard was out. They cut Veronica Burton. She's got a rookie, J.C. Sheldon, who's getting dropped by Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
J.C. Sheldon did turn it on later in the season. But my God, for the first half, she was dog shit.
yeah,
She was
Arike
weak. She was scared. She looked like
Arike
Sweaty Hands. Sweaty Hands was out. Segrist. Maddie Segrist was out for half the year or more. Monique Billings, they got her off the scrap heap, and she was out there playing big time minutes for them. They found her in a recycling bin. No disrespect
they
to
found
Monique
her in a
Billings.
recycle.
But my God, why wasn't Billings on her roster? They found, I'm dead serious though. They literally found her in free agency. Like she was in a recycling bin somewhere, lost and found. Like Monique Billings came in and was getting fucking double doubles and shit, at least for the first couple games. And then they started tweaking with the lineups and everything. And they cut Burton. What's the other guard that they cut? They wouldn't play Lulu Senecal from UConn.
Yeah,
I know
she
you
didn't.
hate that. That burns you up with a fiery passion because you were the biggest Lulu fan when she was at UConn.
She was so good at UConn. If she had any kind of team at UConn, they had a chance to win the championship.
Yo,
Or if Paige
you were
healthy,
saying that Lulu was held back at UConn. You said her stats. I'm not even trying to roast you because I honestly think Lulu's not getting an opportunity to even really prove herself. But you were
right?
saying basically she's more of a pro style offense type player that she would thrive more in the W than in a college system at UConn. Which I kind
Yeah,
of
I thought.
believe watching the games and everything. She kind of looked more of a free flow player, kind of shoot whenever she felt open and comfortable. Her feet were set, high confidence, you know? But now that
Mm,
she's on the wings, I don't think she has that confidence.
because she doesn't play and she barely plays and she hasn't had enough time to prove herself. I don't think.
Right. Yeah. So I think there's a problem there. There's just a lot of issues with the wings. You got McCowan. I mean, she's decent. And then you got Kalani Brown, another 6'7" coming off the bench with some size, and she also can shoot. I just don't know where the problems were other than just the wings. And I think that the wings, the Dallas Wings, and they lost all their wings. They lost Segrist, Howard, and Satu, and then
Yeah, the injuries were.
cut Billings.
Yep. After how
Like
well she played.
after how well she played, you know, it's just comedy sometimes. But you know that I guess that's what it was. So I don't want to fault Enrique too much. So I think Enrique should be in that conversation. Jonquel, Stewie, Tina Charles, and Kalia Copper. They all tied for fifth place in MVP votes in my eyes. Like I said, no clear cut five, but four. NECA, Fee, Clark, and Wilson. Fee in second, Clark's third. But
Yeah, my first three were the same. Then I got Stewie going fourth and NECA going fifth. And NECA's just so consistent every season. She just puts up pretty much the same numbers. I mean, always efficient from the field, always a very good rebounder. She's continues to improve upon that 3-point shot. Has been taking more and more 3-point shots as her career has gone along. It
I
just the
like that
solid.
she expanded her game. I've always liked NECA, but I've always had a rivalry with NECA. I've always had this little thing that I don't like her, and it happened the year that Tina Charles should have won MVP. The year
Yeah,
that NECA won MVP when she had Candace Parker on her team and they were the number one seed in the West. Number one seed in the East was the Liberty with Tina Charles, who led the league in points and rebounds. Like, how are you first in the East, first in points, first in rebounds, and don't win MVP? That was the most rigged, BS MVP voting I've ever seen. I don't care. Call it what it is. NECA should not have an MVP award. It should be Tina Charles. And it just is what it is. But the more and more we look at the all-time stats and everything else, all-time leader in boards, Tina Charles. She's climbing up the points, all-time in points as well. And she never got an MVP. She never got these type of awards or accolades or votes. It's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
The only other person that could say that is Bonner, but Bonner was winning 6 Woman of the Year, 6 Player of the Year.
3 times.
She was a different type of player. She was coming off the bench and being that spark plug because Taurasi brought too much offense back in the day for how the league was ran and the style of basketball. And they would bring Bonner as the spark plug. And she still is up there in the top scorers of all time. And this was a bench player. And what I'm saying is Tina Charles, top scorer, top rebounder and everything. And it never really got her due. And I just think it should have been Tina Charles over NECA. And that's why I got my gripe with NECA. But still, like I said, 4th place for MVP this year for NECA. She went very underappreciated and undercovered. So I just want to give her a shout out.
And somehow DeWanna Bonner received 1 5th place vote.
Really?
She received 1 5th place vote for 2024 WNBA MVP.
That's interesting because Bonner started the year off struggling too.
Kayla McBride got a 5th place vote.
Oh my God! All right, so some of these are just goofy.
De'Erica Hamby got 2 5th place votes, which honestly, she had a great season. She had a great season.
Cute. That's cute.
Her team had the worst record in the league.
Yeah.
I don't think that's obviously.
Hamby crumbled at the Olympics and then lost all her confidence.
Yeah,
and then Azurá Stevens came back and did the same stats. It just proved that there needed to be a power forward with some athleticism.
And I thought the last 3 or 4 games, Hamby kind of came back to her old self.
Yeah. Didn't matter then.
This one, yeah, that's true. This one is crazy. Angel Reese, she got one vote. It was for 4th place for MVP. She got 1 4th place vote. She didn't get a 5th place. She got a 4th place MVP vote.
Did that same person put Caitlin Clark on the ballot? I would love to just know that. If that same person who put Angel Reese 4th, where did she put Caitlin Clark on her top 5 votes?
Yeah, I don't know. But Clark finished 4th in total points for the votes.
For votes? Okay. So 4th in MVP she was her rookie year. Aaliyah Boston last year was 10th, if you don't remember. She got 1 5th place vote and was ranked 10th.
And then I thought Ionescu, she finished 6th in total points for MVP voting, which is ridiculous.
Slack Mamba did not deserve it.
To finish ahead of, she finished as far as total points, she finished ahead of Nneka Ogwumike and Kalia Copper and Jonquel Jones and Kelsey. Yeah, Jonquel Jones was 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. She was 10th in total points. She only received 6 total points.
So wait,
as far as
I didn't even see that voting list. Was my 5 that I said all tied for 5th? Was it decent? Copper, is she up there?
Copper is.
Did Copper get votes?
Finished 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. She finished 8th.
All right, I said tied for 5th. So 8th, Jonquel got 10th. Stewie, where was Stewie?
Stewie finished 3rd.
What?
She finished 3rd in total points. Yeah, that's pretty high.
That's egregious.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
She should not be 3rd in MVP this year. I think Stewie is incredible, one of the top 10 players ever. She did not deserve it this year. There were just better players, people who outperformed her. They might not have been actually better players in every situation, but it is what it is. She got outplayed this year. And shit, if you got 3 other players on your team getting MVP votes,
well, I think
people are saying that Jonquel is the most valuable player. At the same time, they're also voting for Breanna Stewart being the most valuable player.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jonquel Jones is certainly deserving of it. I don't think Ionescu is.
Yeah, definitely not the Slack Mamba. She's not.
I could see Jonquel receiving some 5th place votes, but she received She got 1 fourth place vote and 3 fifth place votes. Jonquel did.
Interesting. Okay. Well, like I said, I think it should have been Stewie, Jonquel, Ka, um, Tina Charles,
Yeah, Charles didn't get a vote.
and then who was my last one?
You
Jonquel.
had Asia, Collier,
Oh,
Clark,
Arike. Arike.
Enrique.
I don't care if nobody
Well,
doesn't say Enrique. She dealt with bullshit. It doesn't matter that she went 7 for 33 in a game and she shot like shit. It doesn't matter. Like,
no, that
actually
mattered.
look at who she. Jalen Brown was hurt last year and didn't even play. Now I'm saying
Other
last year, like the season just ended, but
they've been announcing all these awards here. So Caitlin Clark just won Rookie of the Year unanimously,
yeah.
and Tiffany Hayes won Sixth Player of the Year.
Tip Hayes, okay, go for Tip Hayes.
Thank you.
She retired.
For 4
She
months.
retired and came back. Another player the Sun lost.
Yeah. But
That's why I said we needed Mabry. How do you replace Tiffany Hayes? Marina Mabry. It's the only way. Who won Defensive Player of the Year?
that has not come across my phone yet.
You know who played very well was Ezzy, and Ezzy always performed against BG. That's what I'm saying about BG. She's getting outplayed by players who should not be outperforming her. Ezzy was a project player, and now she's better than BG. Ezzy wasn't even a good basketball player coming up. BG was a superstar from the jump, and now Ezzy could hit threes. And BG will shoot a three here or there, and when she makes it, everyone throws a parade, like Shaq hit a free throw. Like it's like,
Yeah.
whoa,
She
she
always
did it.
throws her arms up every time she hits the three because
I
it's
know she hits the three, and she's like, look what I did.
yeah, because it's such a rarity that
It's such a rare right. That's what I'm saying. Ezzy hits a three a game, and it's nothing to her. And I think she should. I don't know. I understand BG has huge hands though, so it's hard to shoot when you have huge hands
right.
on a girl's ball, which is smaller.
True.
So that's a big thing. She has bigger hands than LeBron,
Rookie of the Year, all rookie.
so she's. I remember that. She was the original Wemby. She has bigger feet than Kareem and bigger hands than LeBron. That was like the craziest thing I ever heard when I was younger when BG got drafted. I'm like, what? She has bigger feet than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was 7'2". She has bigger hands than LeBron, who's like 6'9", a grown ass man. Like I'm
Mm,
like, oh wow, like BG's different. Actually, like the original girl, the original Wemby, but for women.
right.
Oh yeah, I want your take here. I got my fast break lineup set for WNBA.
Hmm.
Do you think I got 80 points in me?
Yeah,
Right?
that's easy.
Like if you think about it, like 2020 gets me 100. I think all of these players can get me 20. Though I don't think Jonquel is going to get me 20 tonight.
Well, you just never know what Jonquel is going to do on a given night. So
I know it could be a 4-point night, it could be 13, it could be 22. Jonquel is just that type of player.
yeah, she can get in foul trouble and then
But
kind
I
of
know
take her.
from Kelsey Mitchell in a playoff game, she's big time. She's going to be big time. Though she hasn't been able to really prove this before because she
This is
is
her first
the
playoff.
longest. This is her first playoff game ever. But
Yeah,
she also is the player who has not made the playoffs in the longest time ever. Sort of like Al Horford. And that's not always the worst sign that you haven't made the playoffs as a great player. And same thing with, like I said, with Al Horford. He was the longest active player to never win a championship.
and he played so many playoff games.
He played so many playoffs. And you can't say that Al Horford isn't a winning player just because he never won a championship. So there's certain instances where it makes sense. And you can't say Kelsey Mitchell has never been a winning player or a great player just because she never made the playoffs. I think she's going to really make a statement and, it's going to be her and Caitlin Clark for the next however many years, hopefully, running the
I think.
playoffs, doing their thing, and maybe even winning championships.
Yeah.
So this is my fantasy lineup for the day. I got Oops, I clicked something else, but right here, yeah. So hopefully if I get 15 from Mitchell and 15 from Tina Charles, I think I'm fine. That's all
Yeah,
I'm asking for. Asia,
seems
she's gonna do her thing. Junquel, whatever she does, I'm happy with. And Joelle Lloyd, she's gonna show up for the playoffs.
yeah,
That's
that
that's the way
seems like
I
an
see
easy
it.
game.
Easy 80. If anything, I think 107. That'll probably be what I finish with. Something like that.
Yeah, I think you
105.
should.
I should kill it then. And then in 2 days, it's 5 players to combine for 20 assists, 20 rebounds. This one is going to be difficult. So hopefully I got the assists.
Yeah, Sabrina and Skylar Diggins are gonna have to carry.
Like Sabrina's going to have 8. Skylar Diggins going to have like 6. And if I get 14 from them, then Laney should get me 2 or 3. Tina Charles, hopefully 1 or 2. And then Stewie 3 or 4. And hopefully I get to
Yeah,
20 assists. That's really what I'm
yeah,
praying for.
Stewie's usually good.
Yeah, Stewie's usually good for a few assists, especially in the playoffs. The ball's going to be in her hands a lot. This one is 5 free throws and 5 threes. So Bonner, Mabry, McBride, Mitchell, and Copper. Copper gets to the line. McBride splashes threes.
I
And
mean,
so does Mitchell.
Mitchell, McBride, and Mabry can almost hit 5 threes themselves. So
I know. McBride might hit 5 by herself. Who knows?
yeah, on certain nights they could just
And then they won't let me build rosters for these days because the games aren't happening yet. If there's a sweep, then I don't even have to fill out a roster.
right.
But it'd be interesting. 25 field goals, 30 made, 30 attempts. And then this one is 60 points, 12 assists.
Damn.
So yeah, could get crazy, could get fun. 80 points easy. Thank you, Hawk. We need that. Hawk commenting in the chat. But yeah, Asia should get me 25. And 25 or 30 from Asia will get me a long way. And that's what I'm banking on. So we're going all the way. Hopefully I can win it. I don't know what I win this week. Usually they have the rewards, and I usually check them out. I haven't checked them out. Let me see what the opportunity is. Oh, it's either a 1-win pack or a 3-win pack. Okay. I'm pretty sure that 3-win pack is going to go for big bread. So I want to win that. Last pack I sold, it was a 4-win pack, but it was for a long week, and it was like 16, 19 bucks. And then I sold the 1-win pack for $3. So it was like $20 just for playing this fantasy game.
Nice.
Yeah. But I think since it's the playoffs and the rewards are probably going to be like consolidated, I think the 3 packs, the best pack that you could win is going to like have a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you see the chat, but Hawk said, "What's up?"
What's that?
You want to jump into the UFC? We can wrap it up.
Yeah, what is it next week in Paris?
Yes. Oh yeah. By the way, Woj retired. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that already, but we're gonna give a shout out to Woj, sports journalism legend, and at the same time, he pissed me off. You know the draft where Dante DiVincenzo got drafted by the Bucks because the Hawks took Kevin Herter, the pick before, because Woj announced that the Bucks were gonna take Dante DiVincenzo, so they said, "Oh, there's no trade leverage. We'll just take Herter."
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Bucks were supposed to take Herter, and it was just this whole like leverage negotiation that Woj tweeted in advance, and then the Hawks were like, "You have no leverage no more. You told Woj who you're drafting. You told him the truth, and you lied to us." So they picked Herter, and the Bucks got Dante. Dante played great for what it was worth, and now he's flourishing on the Knicks. But I don't know. I wanted Herter. I thought Herter would be a better player and would have stayed around in Milwaukee and did good things. I wanted the red rifle, you know?
Red Velvet.
Red Velvet. Not the Red
Red
Rifle
Velvet.
is also his nickname, but Red Velvet's his newer nickname. But my favorite nickname for Kevin Herter is Kayvon. Kayvon
Why is it
Herter.
Kayvon
I don't
Herter?
know. Like the locker room fucks with him. Just know that. He's Kayvon Herter. He's valid.
He's valid.
That's the best way I can tell you. Kayvon Herter is valid, so he's Kayvon. And he's been Kayvon since college at Maryland. That's the reason why I know the joke, is because everyone calls him Kayvon. That's like players, not coaches, obviously, but the players fuck around and call him Kayvon.
Mhm.
What else do we got? Oh yeah. We're jumping to the UFC, so we can start. You think Kutelaba is getting this dub?
He sucks. I don't know.
He sucks.
He's so fucking bad. Oh my god. Who is this Ivan Earth guy? This must be his UFC debut.
Right?
It is. Ivan Urslan. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I don't
don't
know
know
how.
who Ivan Urslan is, but he's older than Kutelaba.
Yeah, but I don't know how Kulapa has a job right now, but he's getting slept or whatever. Not going to be a good night for him in Paris.
Urslan Tapology. Let me look up this Ivan Urslan guy.
He's from Croatia. He's not even. Thought he'd be from France.
I thought his nickname. I just read somewhere his nickname is the Polish Tank, but it says he's from Croatia.
Yeah, I'm taking Urslan. I don't even need to see him.
Yeah, I don't know. This guy, who knows? He might be.
Bet the house on Urslan.
Oh, he just lost to a guy named the Polish Tank.
Ah,
And the guy was 37 and older.
goddamn.
So who knows? Maybe Kutelaba is getting set up for a win right here.
He needs it.
And this is good too. If Kutelaba comes off a win, he's easy to sell on a main card after that because people know who Kutelaba is from that Green Hulk thing when he painted himself green.
Didn't he lose that fight?
Yeah, but everyone remembers the Hulk, you know?
They remember the Hulk. They don't remember the loss.
They don't remember the loss. I want to say I have a lock for next weekend. So we could go past this Kutelaba nonsense.
Thank God.
But my lock for next weekend is Brian Battle.
Shout out Brian Battle.
Brian Battle is gonna literally put this guy Kevin in hell. He's gonna
Sleep
beat
him?
the piss out of him. I don't know if he's gonna sleep him. Probably a TKO. That's what I would say. I think it's a TKO.
Because he's not a
He's gonna
huge
have,
favorite in this.
he's
Minus
gonna have
160.
he's gonna have him curled up in a ball. Brian Battle for the win.
Okay.
What do you think?
I like that.
What do you think about Matt Frivola and Ziam?
I like Matt Frivola. He's gonna go for it. He's gonna be in your face. That fight's gonna end in a finish. He just got knocked out by Saint Denis, who's the main event.
Right.
But I like, and he also got slipped by Terrence McKinney in 7 seconds. But
Right.
Frivola is either knocking you out or he's not. He's getting
Knocked out. So he's knocking out Zaim.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right. What about what do we got next? Miranda versus, how do you say this guy's name? Cherrier? Cherrier?
I don't know. He's French.
He's French. See,
He's a
Collier. Collier is how you pronounce the last name, right?
he's a French fella. He's a huge favorite.
He is, I guess. He's got the Extentacion dreads with the little dyed red tips on one side.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about either one of these guys.
Yeah, I've never seen William Goomis or Joe Anderson Brito fight either. I don't think.
Yeah.
Some of these guys. I mean, we tune in every week, and if
Gomez
both
is
of us have never seen guys, that's when I know I'm like, yeah, this is a fight I can't.
no, but
I can't guess it.
yeah, Gomez had fight.
Who
Gomez had
Gomez
3
fight?
fights in the UFC. Aarons, Marshall, and Gemiori.
Let me see his topology.
I mean, I've watched his fights before, but he's not super exciting.
Oh, okay. Now I seen the picture blow up. I recognize his face.
Yeah.
With the waves, yeah. Yeah, I don't even recognize who he fought, but I definitely seen, because I don't know who Francis Marshall is. Let me see who Francis Marshall fights, if I recognize anybody. Definitely don't know. Definitely not. But yeah, I Goomis looks familiar. If anything, I can't even recall like how he fights.
Yeah, I've watched him before. Not that fun.
Okay. Let's move on to Imavov and Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen is coming off a big time win on the casino floor. He beat up Marvin Vittori.
Yeah. Yep. He's on quite the win. He's on quite the winning streak.
He is. Brendan Allen's out here kicking ass. I wonder about Imavov though, because he's coming down off of fighting 205.
Yeah, because he fought Anthony Smith, right?
Yeah.
Is that who he Smith? Yeah.
Yeah. You fight Anthony Smith.
Um. Yeah, that's
I'm thinking
interesting.
it's Allen. In my opinion, it's Allen.
Yeah, because Allen's more of a grappler too, and on. He's won 5 straight, and then no, he's won 3, 6. He's won 7 straight, and 5 out of those 7 wins are from submission. He's beating some names too. He beat Paul Craig. He beat Chris Curtis. Beat Bruno Silva.
Who's fighting Paul Craig? Is it Bo Nickel?
Yeah,
Why is he
that's at
fighting Paul
the.
Craig?
I guess for the ranking.
He's
I
gonna
think
beat the
Paul
shit
Craig's
out of
ranked
Paul
now.
Craig. Maybe for the ranking.
Let me see. So he's middleweight because Paul Craig moved down to middleweight. Paul Craig's not even ranked. He was ranked
Oh,
with light heavyweight. He's not even light.
oh,
He's not light. But he probably, I mean, Bo Nickel probably get a top 15 guy after Paul Craig. That would make sense.
yeah. Very interesting. But yeah, I think Brendan Allen for the dub. And then who you got? Moicano or Saint Denis?
Money Moicano.
Money
Take.
Moicano. Moicano needs steaks. Moicano needs money.
Yeah, we'll take Moicano. We'll take the
All right,
grappler.
good. Good. I like Moicano.
Pretty
So, I
big
mean,
underdog.
Saint Denis just got slept by Poirier, so you can't call him a bum. It's tough with Moicano, you know? Like, he's older, he's 35, but my God, this dude's a dog. The way he
I forgot,
fights, it's hard to bet against Moicano.
and I forgot he knocked out Jalen Turner.
He beat the hell out of him.
Was that the fight where Jalen Turner thought he knocked him out and then he walked off in the first round? Remember when Turner knocked, or was that Dan Hooker? Remember when Jalen Turner knocked? I think it was.
That
I
was
thought it
Dan
was
Hooker.
Moicano. He knocked,
Was it
and then
Moicano?
he walked.
I
I
remember what you're
forget.
talking about. He literally punched him and was
It was,
like, yeah!
yeah, it was the first round, and then he just walked off. He thought Herb
It
Dean was
was
going to stop the fight.
Moicano.
It was
Yeah,
Moicano, right?
it was
Then
Moicano.
Moicano knocked him out. But yeah,
Moicano's a dog, bro. Yo, who was the one who got
I'm
knocked
taking.
out into a knock? Who got woken up by getting punched the other day?
Oh, that was Ortega.
Ortega literally got slept, eyes shut. He went boom, shut, and then the follow-up punch hit him and his eyes opened.
Yeah, Ortega against your boy. Ortega against your boy.
Diego Lopez.
Yep, got them
I t-
hands.
all I'm saying is I told y'all. I
Mm.
told y'all about Diego Lopez from the jump. I seen his first fight. I said this dude is head and shoulders above the competition. Like he is in another class of fighters. He is like a top 5 type guy. Like this is a Gaethje type level fighter. This is a Poirier type guy who's gonna go to the top 5. He's gonna wreak havoc. He's gonna be a tough fight for anybody. Even if he takes an L, no one's gonna say he's a bum. And that's what I know about
All right,
Diego Lopez. I watch enough UFC to know that guy has elite talent. And that's
and now
exactly what he's been doing.
he's right there for a title shot.
Literally, he's the number 1 contender now. And this was supposed to be some scrappy guy on an undercard. Not even supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be something, but he's just keeps winning. Can't stop Diego Lopez.
All right,
And same call with Moicano.
Money Moicano.
Money Moicano. I had this run with who did I call for a little bit while he was on a hot streak? fuck. What is his name? The dude who be fighting, the guy who be
Yeah, the
throwing punches.
guy. It's a great description.
What the fuck is his name? He's like 5'8", 145. Why can't I
Me,
think of his name right now? You,
me. There you go.
you.
Yeah,
Remember I was saying you were gonna go on a win streak and you went on a win streak.
I've been in UFC for a couple of years now. If you didn't know.
I know.
Ugh.
Oh man, I can't think of his name right now. It's gonna tear me up, and I'm gonna think about it as soon as we go off live. I'm gonna be like,
You'll
I'm gonna
remember
send
it.
you a text, and I'm gonna be like, "Yo, this is the guy." Yeah, I can't think of who I'm talking about right now. But man, I called it for a little bit, and then he fell off. Who am I thinking of, man? Anyway, let's move on. Get back to Saint Denis. How do you think Saint Denis can win this fight?
By knockout, keeping the fight on the feet.
Really?
Trying to keep the distance, trying to avoid the takedowns from Moicano. Because I don't know if Moicano can really strike with Saint Denis. I don't know if he really wants to strike with Saint Denis. I think he's got to get him on the ground and try to submit him.
Okay.
Or just wrestle with him. So I think that'll be his
he
way.
wants it in the stand up. I like
I
that.
think if Saint Denis is going to win it, it's going to be on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be on the feet, I think.
All right. I like that. So basically, like a knockout.
Yeah.
Call a knockout for Saint Denis. I'm calling Moicano by decision.
Yeah, I'm still rooting for Moicano, but
Okay.
if Saint Denis were to win,
Yeah, I think this is going
I'm
to be
still
a
taking money
decision
Moicano.
fight. Regardless, I think it's a decision.
Right.
If I had to put my money on anything this fight, it would just be time. It goes 15 minutes. It goes the distance.
No, 25 is the main event.
Well, yeah, it's a 5-rounder. I was thinking because it wasn't a championship fight, but you're right. It's 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. I'm still taking it. 25 minutes decision.
All right.
These guys don't have any quit in them. I know St. Denis got knocked out and put to sleep last fight. He didn't quit. His body quit. His body went to sleep. He didn't go to sleep. He didn't want to. He wanted to stay awake and keep fighting.
Right. Body.
Hawk says 2 things. Talks about Giannis going to the Mavericks.
Mm.
And is Sugar Sean getting his spot back? I would say to Sugar Sean, yes. To Giannis to the Mavs. I think Giannis has a few spots where he could end up. And the few spots he could end up are the Knicks, Nets, Mavericks, Warriors, and Lakers. Those would be the 5. He says he's always loved Steph Curry. He said it would be like a something. He had some quote about playing with Steph Curry. There's even been like jersey swaps of Giannis with the Warriors, and I've seen those rumors for years. The Lakers make sense because he's doing movies. He's more Hollywood. He kind of is trying to follow in LeBron's steps in like a very humble way. He like kind of sees what LeBron did. He wants the success. He wants to help his family, and he wants to give back to Greece. He's a very charitable person. So I like that, and I think he might potentially find his way to LA at some point and be a Laker. The others are New York, big markets. The Knicks drafted his brother Thanasis, and he said something about the Knicks a long time ago, and they respected his brother enough to draft him, so he respects the organization. And Dolan still owns it. Dolan drafted him, and Dolan could potentially land Giannis just off of that alone. Brooklyn could be the other team if Giannis doesn't want to like be a part of the whole Villanova Knicks thing, and he wants to do his own thing, but he also still wants to be in New York, a major city, in like a big market, because that's where Giannis needs to be. He needs to go to a big market, most likely. He won in a small market, but now he could go to a big market. I don't think he's going to do the 20-year thing in Milwaukee. And then the last one could be the Mavericks. Mark Cuban is a good owner. I know he's not the majority owner anymore, but still, he's always been about like player empowerment and like having a great arena and taking care of his players. And I think he really respects that. So I think he respects somebody who's on top who also gives back to the players and always thinks about their comfort level too, which the Bucks ownership, previous ownership, because they just sold it, always looked after Giannis and always thought of him with player first. So I think
Right.
he wants to be somewhere that's player first for sure. Um, I don't always think that's the Lakers. I think the Bus family is always Bus first for the most part, other than Kobe. And I don't think they're not even putting LeBron necessarily first like they did Kobe. So I don't know. I don't know if Giannis would go there and he would get that treatment. I don't think they would give him the special preferential treatment that they gave Kobe. But I just don't think the Bucks new ownership will. They don't have the family ties, even though Giannis has been there for a while. It's a new team, new organization, new leadership, new people. So that loyalty isn't there the way it used to be 2 years ago. Especially if Chris Middleton is hurt all year again. He's coming off 2 ankle surgeries. Dame Lillard didn't even train last year, according to Doc Rivers. He said he didn't want to practice because he was scared to get hurt, so he wouldn't get traded from the Blazers. So you had an out of shape Dame and a broken Chris Middleton. So if that's going to happen again, and then Brooke Lopez is 35, still trying to be an athletic big, who knows what's going to happen there? So you got that. Beauchamp has turned out to be a bust. They drafted some young guys this year. Doc Rivers doesn't play young guys notoriously. Andre Jackson didn't really take a leap. He didn't look good in summer league. Buzelis knocked him off his spot.
Mm.
Matas Buzelis, who should have been the number 1 overall pick. I love Buzelis. But yeah, Andre Jackson was trying to guard him in summer league. Bro, Buzelis first game of summer league, driving to the cup. Buzelis bodies Andre Jackson, goes straight to the rack and won. And Andre Jackson, literally, I was sitting there. It's in the small gym. It wasn't in the big gym. It was in the high school gym at summer league, and I was right there. Andre Jackson went back 10 feet, like maybe more. This dude flew out of bounds. So if Andre Jackson is considered a defensive stopper, getting body bagged by a young kid from the G League who never even went to college, come on now. You can't be getting bodied by the skinny Lithuanian kid.
Mm.
If that's happening, Andre Jackson Jr., pack him up. Just like Adrian Griffin just packed it up. AJ Griffin Jr. packed it up. I think that's what it is. So the Bucks aren't looking too hot. They signed Torian Prince, which was decent. Gary Trent Jr., decent signing. Darrell Wright, decent signing. So they have these guys. Pat Connaughton looked like shit last year. He fell off. He dunked the ball 3 times last year. That's how you know Pat Connaughton's athleticism's falling off. 3 dunks.
Right.
That's bad. There's games where he was throwing 3 dunks down. Now 3 in a season. So we lost Connaughton. He was our guy for a while. But you can't be a 6'5" power forward and you can't jump anymore. And that's kind of what he's turned into. He's not really a small forward. He's like this weird small ball 4. And like I said, he lost his hops. So if Connaughton lost athleticism, it just is what it is. So yeah, Giannis talked to the Mavs. That would be cool. Him and Luka. I think they would go off. I think he would be the perfect player to go with Luka. You don't need a shooter next to Luka necessarily. You fill him with, you have your shooters, but you need a superstar to go with them. And if you had a lob threat like Giannis is with Luka, that might even extend Giannis's career.
That's a true super team.
That's a true super team. Plus, imagine having Kyrie, Luka, and Giannis. And plus, they're all international players. Kyrie was born in Australia. You got Giannis born in Greece. And then Luka born in Slovenia. So it'd be like an international team. That would be kind of cool. I know Kyrie's considered like American because his parents and everything. But like I'm saying, like 3 guys born outside of the United States. They've always kind of been outsiders. Like Kyrie. It's kind of been a little outsider. No one's put his arms around him and hugged him. The league hasn't really. He's a little bit of
Hmm.
an outsider, so I think he would probably would get along with these guys. He's already gotten along with Luka. So I think
Right.
he would get along with Giannis. Giannis is very humble, hardworking. He's not about bullshit and a lot of other things, you know. So I think they'll be good. I think he's a good leader. So yeah, if Giannis ever goes to the Mavs, GG, they win the championship. Like this
Hmm.
season, if they did that. But I also think, like I said with the Knicks, I didn't want to rule them out because could they potentially do something for Giannis? Could they make a trade? Could you trade Julius Randle and some other things to get Giannis? Is that possible? Because they did it with Mikal Bridges. They did it, but that was 5 first-round picks. Do they have that much left to give up?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money too. The cap would be a little crazy. Um, I don't know. You know, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up. NBA playoff preview, guys. Tune in. The Dream and the Liberty start in about 30 minutes or less, 25 minutes. So if you want to tune in to the tip-off of the WNBA playoffs, make sure you tune in to the Dream and the Liberty coming up soon. Then you got the Fever versus the Sun. Cool to see Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell in their playoff debut.
Right.
So that's going to be a fun game. We got the Mercury and Lynx. As we said, we think the Lynx are just going to crush them. It's a math problem. Not enough shooting on the Mercury, too much shooting on the Lynx. And then Seattle Storm versus the Aces. I got the Storm. You got the Aces. I think this is the matchup that we're really waiting for. I think the other three, we potentially have a guess what's going to happen. I'd
Right.
say like a hypothesis, an educated guess on what's going to happen. But man,
Hmm.
this Storm versus Aces matchup is going to be the most competitive series of the playoffs potentially. This might
Yeah.
be
It's
the
really
NBA, the WNBA championship. The true championship might go through this series.
right. Truly a
So
toss up.
yeah, truly a toss up. We'll see what it is. My hunch, the Aces are black and silver. They're not black and gold anymore. I go with storylines, so I'm going with the storyline.
We'll see if
Asia
that
got silver weave.
will
Why'd she do it? Why'd she do the silver? We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it's Vegas and everything's written. We'll see about the script. I think the script was written in silver Sharpie.
Mm.
So we'll see you guys next Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. Go Sun.
Adios.
Adios, guys. We out.